With 2 seconds left, with the Hail Mary pass to Noah Brown, Jayden Daniels throws the game-winning Hail Mary pass to give the Commanders a 18-15 victory and an unreal finish, man. So we're going to celebrate next on Washington Football Maniacs. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again, and today, what a crazy finish. I mean, this defense shined, but then Chicago got the lead with 23 seconds left, and the Washington Commanders under quarterback Jayden Daniels continue to show why they are definitely a sleeper team. Well, it's not really a sleeper team anymore because, look, the news is out. The Washington Commanders are a playoff team, in my opinion. Today, getting a Hail Mary victory in the final 2 seconds of the fourth quarter and an 18-15 victory of the Chicago Bears. So, huge victory for the Washington Commanders, and Jayden Daniels continues to show why he's special, why we have finally found that franchise quarterback that we've desperately been searching for so many years. I mean, this organization is definitely heading in the right direction. New ownership in Josh Harris, new general manager in Adam Peters, new coaching staff under new head coach Dan Quinn, and now new franchise quarterback. And today was the battle of the first and second draft picks. Caleb Williams versus Jayden Daniels, and Jayden Daniels came out the winner. Not only in the final play of the game, but overall great game. So let's get into some stats and the game balls for tonight's victory over the Chicago Bears. Now, number one, you got to shout out the defense. This is the second straight game where defense has shined. If you look at the numbers for the Chicago Bears, they held Caleb Williams to 10 completions for 24 attempts for 131 yards and 2 sacks. So his quarterback rating was 59.5. So they did their job containing him. There was a few plays where he ran and he got some extra yardage, but overall they contained him. Especially if you look at the fact that, with DeAndre Swift in the backyard, in the backfield that is, and 3 stud receivers, they were able to kind of handcuff Caleb Williams overall. Now, obviously, if you look at the running numbers for the Bears, DeAndre Swift did run for 18 carries for 129 yards. So his longest was a 56-yard touchdown run, which put the first score up for the Chicago Bears. But overall, this defense shut, especially the passing game. I mean, the top receiver for the Bears was Roma Dunze with 3 receptions for 41 yards. So they were able to put the clamps on DJ Moore and Keenan Allen overall. And like I said, this secondary has been criticized heavily, and for good reason. They have had their struggles in the early part of the season. But look, at the 8-game mark, where this team is looking good. This was a really good victory for the team because not only is it a good moral victory, it shows that this team very well is the best team in this division. Now, Philadelphia had a really good win over Cincinnati today, and it remains to be seen if Dallas pulls out a victory today. But, look, the Washington Commanders are proving that they should be mentioned amongst the top teams in the NFC, in my opinion. Now, Detroit could have something to say about that. Obviously, Detroit Lions are looking like the best team in the NFC. I say this time and time again, the Washington Commanders under rookie quarterback Jayden Daniels, they're going to have the bumps and bruises. They're going to have their growing pains. But they are playing a lot better than a lot of people thought, a lot of people in the fan base. And look, a lot of us have been hungry for this type of success. Finally got Dan Snyder out of here, got a really good owner in Josh Harris. We've been waiting a long time for that, 20 years to get rid of that punk. Now Josh Harris has shown that he is the man for the job. Got a legitimate GM in Adam Peters who's going to build this team, who has made good moves this previous offseason, and is going to build this team into a Super Bowl contender this offseason coming up. And you look at it, if you look at his coaching staff under new head coach Dan Quinn, this team is ready to play, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Joe Wood Jr. combined with Dan Quinn, they've gotten this defense to a really good point. They're playing good football on the defensive side. Not only the linebackers, not just the defensive line, even though the defensive line, especially in the middle, giving up 129 yards to DeAndre Swift, not the best showing, but overall, especially the secondary. The secondary has caught a lot of flack from this fan base and analysts around the NFL and every major network. And what? Benjamin St. Juste, really good move, really good play in the first half, preventing them from getting the first down. They played well overall. This was a really good showing by the Washington Commanders, even though the Chicago Bears made it interesting in the end. They definitely made it interesting. So let's take a look at some numbers. Jayden Daniels, 21 for 38 for 326 yards. Come on now, for 1 touchdown. He averaged around 8.6 yards per completion and only had 2 sacks for a quarterback rating of 92.7. I'm telling y'all, we finally have that franchise quarterback. This kid is impressive. Not only what he produces on the field, Even though he's very savvy, he keeps his cool. He doesn't panic. That last play, he could have easily panicked. Let's not forget he's a rookie, but he plays like a seasoned veteran. This kid has been playing good football, and we're only 8 games into the season. I mean, unreal. Keep it cool under pressure and getting that ball out. And yes, that was probably one of the easier Hail Marys because it bounced. They always tell you from Pop Warner on up, knock the ball down, and they didn't do so. They knocked it up, and look, Noah Brown was able to get the easy touchdown reception, man. So, like I said, really good finish, man, because I think the oxygen left the stadium when you saw the Chicago Bears score that last touchdown. And it was like, man, we just gave it up. We gave up a very winnable game. We had Chicago on the road for most of the game. And like I said, we kept Caleb Williams under wraps. He wasn't able to utilize this, this triple threat they have at wide receiver. DeAndre Swift, he did well in the ground game. But overall, the defense for the Commanders played really, really well. All right, let's get into some rushing numbers. Brian Robinson Jr., the dog as usual, 16 carries for 65 yards. Jayden Daniels did his thing, even with the rib injury. And you knew there was a few times where they were putting the wraps around his ribs. Wow. Warrior, man. I mean, this guy played as a warrior. I mean, with the rib injury, still went out there, extended plays, and 8 carries, 52 yards. I mean, rushing-wise, we rammed the ball down their throats. Austin Eckler, 7 carries, 52 yards. And he actually, if you look at how many yards per carry, 7.4, he was the best rusher today. And so if you look at the triple threat of Brian Robinson Jr., Jayden Daniels, and Austin Eckler, this team is heading somewhere. Now, I think that experience is definitely an important thing come playoff time. And I think we're going to have a growing pain still for the rest of the year. But overall, this team at 6-2 is looking like a favorite to win the NFC East, in my opinion. And it's looking like a team who's definitely a playoff team. Now, the big question is experience. How much does experience really impact this team going forward the rest of the regular season? And come playoff time, if we finish the job and become a playoff team, how much does the lack of experience, especially playoff experience, really hamper the Washington Commanders? But overall, the fan base is happy. I mean, this is a good victory. This is, a really good victory. And like I said, hats off to Jayden Daniels, man. He continues to show why he is the man for the job, why he's going to be the franchise quarterback for the team for the next decade plus, in my opinion. All right, so look at some receiving numbers. Scary Terry. And it's funny because Tony Romo, and I swear, sometimes I ain't going to be hard on Tony Romo because he's a former cowboy or cowgirl, that is. But sometimes he just say some things out the side of his neck on broadcasters. He said something. I believe that the previous play before Chad McLaurin caught that really long reception, the ball went through Scary Terry's hands, and Tony Romo was like, well, Jayden Daniels has been accurate, but, that ball's on him. And I disagree. The ball went through Scary Terry's hands. And Scary Terry's going to catch that ball 99.9% of the time. So I wasn't tripping. It happens. The ball goes through your hands. He's more of a body catcher anyway. So that if there's one thing you want to see Scary Terry kind of improve in is, more catches using your hands as opposed to body catches. But that's it, man. Scary Terry has proven that he's number one receiver. He has proven time and time again that he's probably one of the more underrated number one options in the NFL because time and time again, he proves his worth to the Washington Commanders. And sooner or later, the NFL is going to have to realize that Washington has number one option. Now, do we go out there and get a Deontay Johnson? Do you go out there and get a Christian Kirk? We'll see at the deadline, man. But like I said, we definitely have our number one guy, man. And Zach Ertz, the safety valve, almost caught that touchdown and hit the ground. Very close play. 7 receptions for 77 yards. Again, he proves to be a really good weapon for Jayden Daniels. Noah Brown, 3 receptions for 73 yards and that touchdown in the Hail Mary. Is he the option in number 2? He's played good football. Him and De'Ami Brown. But here's the thing. Consistency is the name of the game. And I think we still need to go out there and get a legitimate number 2. But it's not to say that, Noah Brown and De'Ami Brown, they should definitely be in the equation with this receiving core. I definitely think they've earned contracts here. They definitely be the 4th and the 5th receiver in my humble opinion. Lou McCaffrey to me is the slot guy, but go out there and get a number 2 in my opinion. So we don't really have to worry too much about the wide receiver situation. I think that you keep Noah Brown around. And I think De'Ami Brown would be in a deep threat. You keep him around, but I don't think neither one of them at this point is the option or the target or the choice at the number 2 opposite Scary Terry. Let's get into some other numbers. The defense, Quan Martin. Come on now. Hand it to him. Quan Martin, 9 tackles, 1 for loss. He continues to be a dog in the secondary, man. Quan Martin continues to be a dog. And I've been impressed with what he's done. I've been impressed with his defense overall the last couple of games. I mean, Benjamin St. Juste came through, made a couple good plays. Frankie Louvu is that dog. And Deron Payne got a sack with 3 tackles. So definitely if you look at rushing numbers from DeAndre Swift, not the best showing. Yes, Jonathan Allen's out for the year. So right now, it's finding the best combination opposite Deron Payne, right? Is it Fedarian Mathis? Is it Johnny Newton? Even though Johnny Newton's played really, really good football, man, I'm trying to tell y'all, because tonight he did get a fumble recovery. So a lot of good questions, a lot of questions going forward, man. Who, is Deron Payne a future piece? Jonathan Allen, with his season-ending injury, is he going to be a commander? Or have we seen the last of him? And can Fedarian Mathis and Johnny Newton step up and possibly be the replacements for eventually Deron Payne and Jonathan Allen? That's a big question. But this defense really performed. They really performed tonight. This is a really good game. Like I said, overall, they put the clamps on Chicago. I mean, we're going to get into some team numbers, but I mean, you had the touchdown from DeAndre Swift, but they didn't score again. Let's see, they scored all their points in the second half. So obviously that lone touchdown in the third quarter by DeAndre Swift and that last touchdown by Rashawn Johnson for the 1-yard touchdown, and in the subsequent 2-point conversion by Cole Kmet. But overall, they put the clamps on this team. If you look at team stats real quick, total yards, the Commanders had 481 compared to the Bears 307. Passing yards, 313 compared to the Bears 111. Now, they got us in rushing yards by about 30 rushing yards, but overall, we're about neck to neck. First downs, 23 to their 15. They had one turnover. But here's the thing, possession time, 5 minutes, ended up being that key factor for this team. So, like I said, overall, this defense put the clamps on the Chicago Bears. And this offense, while I do think they're in need of a playmaker or two, in my opinion, they showed that this is a playoff team, in my opinion. Now, we're going to take a look at the schedule going forward, because does it get easier or harder for our beloved Washington Commanders? So that is the question, because they've had some really good victories. But I think the big question going forward is this, guys. How do we perform against in-division foes like the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys? Because that's where the games really count. I mean, they all count, but you have to be able to defeat your in-division foes if you want to be the king of the division. This is still one of the hardest, if not the hardest division in football. It is. I mean, Philadelphia blew out the Bengals today, and Dallas is about to play. So, looking at the schedule going forward, next game, November 3rd at New York, I think is a winnable game. The Giants are a dumpster fire at this point. But the Pittsburgh Steelers, November 10th, is going to be a really closer game, in my opinion. Who did they rule out there? Is it Justin Fields? Is it, is it Wilson? It remains to be seen who they put out there. But Pittsburgh's no easy pushover win, man. So we're definitely going to earn that one. But then after that, primetime game at Philly, home against Dallas, home against the Titans. Titans, to me, is a winnable game. At New Orleans, I think is a winnable game. They're kind of inconsistent. But here's the thing. Going forward, the hardest game, in my opinion, I think Pittsburgh is going to be a hard game, but I think it's a very winnable game. Beating the Eagles in Philly is always hard. Eagles at home is hard, even though we're slowly regaining home field advantage as far as winning over the battle of the fan bases at Northwest Stadium. But we still have Atlanta. The last 3 games of the year, we have Philly at home, Atlanta at home, and the last game of the year is at Dallas. So, the last 3 games are going to be a real test for this team. But like I said, to me, New Orleans is a winnable game. The Titans is a winnable game. So that's 8 wins right there. The Giants makes it 9. I think that Pittsburgh is a winnable game. That's 10. And I think we will split with the Cowboys and the Eagles. So that gives us a 12-win team. I think it's realistic. But here's the thing. Into the playoffs, how much does the lack of playoff experience really hurt this team? And I think that we're a year away from making noise as far as legit Super Bowl noise. Now, am I going to be upset if we make a Super Bowl run and win it? No. I'm going to be there for the parade, and I'm probably going to be very, very intoxicated. But, I mean, here's the thing. If I'm willing to bet, I think we're a year away, because I think that playoff experience counts. I think we get that experience this year, but we will lose in the playoffs. I think next year is a year we make that run, because I see Adam Peters being very, very active, not only in the draft, but supplementing through free agency. I think we may see a trade or two, looking at Jonathan Allen, looking at Deron Payne. And I think that, we have one more year where this team, not only overall, but, especially the offense, they build chemistry. I still think we need a playmaker at the deadline. I would not wait on that. Now, we could wait for the offseason, and we can still plug and play De'Ami Brown and Noah Brown at the 2. And that's a good option. Right now, do you have to rush to make the deal? No, but you want to kind of see how good this offense can be with another playmaker. I mean, the running back committee, Brian Robinson being the guy, with Austin Eckler supplementing and Jayden Daniels with his legs, form a 3-headed monster on the rushing attack, man. And I'm telling you, this is a nasty rushing attack we have here. But I still think we need to add a playmaker at the deadline. So, all right, guys, very important victory. 2 seconds left. Jayden Daniels throws a Hail Mary pass to Noah Brown for the touchdown and the win to improve to 6-2, an 18-15 victory over the Chicago Bears. And tonight, Jayden Daniels shows why he was the best quarterback in this year's draft. I'm just saying. You guys get in the comment section. Let me know if you agree or disagree and why. All right, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and call it tonight, but big victory for the Washington Commanders. So definitely celebrate because we're heading in the right direction. All right, everybody. Hail to the Commanders and peace. See everybody next time.